Earth Day. Not really saving the climate here, AOC, if you're using all of that jet fuel.
Come on. Double standards?
Oh, my goodness. AOC and I have a long history. 5 years ago, when I hinted that I would vote for Trump over Bernie Sanders, she tore me apart. And she's always been a raging hypocrite. Remember a couple years ago, she wore this designer-made dress to the Met Gala at the same time that she's masquerading as a woman of the people. She claims to be a democratic socialist.
Forget everything you thought you knew, because AOC just walked into a verbal ambush that could have doubled as a WWE main event. Picture this. She's dodging questions like she's in a TikTok dance challenge when suddenly, Lindi Li steps in swinging rhetorical chairs like it's SmackDown Live. 1 minute, it's progressive poetry hour. The next, it's courtroom chaos, and AOC looks like she just lost the script. Lindi didn't just call her out. She served her a 7-course buffet of reality checks. Trust me, you'll want popcorn for this one.
She flies on private jets and is wearing a cap in first class because she doesn't want to be recognized. And then Bernie Sanders, I mean, come on, this is a guy who went to communist Russia and purports to be a man of the people, yet he's using the hard-earned money, this hard-working money of everyday Americans around the country to fly private.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. It helps more than you think. Because whatever Lindi Li had that morning, it wasn't coffee. It was rocket fuel. She woke up, chose violence, and decided AOC was target number 1. What followed wasn't a debate. It was a demolition derby of words, with AOC parked in the wrong lane. Sparks flew, confidence cracked, and embarrassment was the only thing left standing.
Ever since I got elected, Republicans have attacked me by saying that I should go back to bartending. But let me tell you, I'm happy to any day of the week because there is nothing wrong with working for a living. Imagine having leaders in the White House who understand that.
AOC tried to hold her ground. The hand gestures, the dramatic pauses, that classic "how dare you" glare. But Lindi Li wasn't impressed. She came in like a human wrecking ball, and even Miley Cyrus would have asked for tips. Every time AOC tried to defend herself, Lindi turned it into another perfectly timed punchline, sharp, surgical, and unstoppable.
The way they spent $1 billion.
If my donors had known that in advance, they wouldn't have given. This is just ridiculous. And I'm sorry to say that. Well, every time I criticize something, I can just hear, I can just feel the knives being thrown in my back.
Now picture AOC insisting she was misunderstood, as if gaslighting an entire audience could magically erase a mountain of receipts. She dodged, denied, and danced like she was auditioning for Broadway. Except this wasn't Hamilton. It was pure humiliation. The more she wriggled, the deeper she sank. It was like watching someone argue with their own reflection and still lose.
Because it's like a very insular community, but again, at this point in my life, we're not allowed to curse here, right? I don't care. This is just the right thing to do. This reminds me of the PPP program through which Kanye got a few $1 million, and I love Tom Brady, but come on, Tom Brady doesn't need taxpayer money. This is just, can you imagine people giving $25 or $50, and it means so much to them.
Lindi Li didn't just clap back. She brought the evidence. Screenshots, contradictions, every plot hole in AOC's story arc lined up like exhibits in court. Then she tore through them with the precision of a caffeine-fueled surgeon. You could almost hear that Law and Order dun-dun every time she landed a hit. And AOC? She tried to act unbothered, wearing that forced calm while her eye twitched in Morse code. It was the kind of meltdown where denial only made the flames burn hotter. A total highlight reel of unintentional comedy.
As one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000, while you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their healthcare extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math.
At this point, Lindi wasn't arguing. She was teaching a masterclass in verbal takedowns. Her tone was surgical, her timing flawless. You could almost see AOC mentally reworking her resume mid-conversation, wondering if Trader Joe's was hiring. Sure, she tried to recover, but every defense fell flatter than week-old soda. Lindi's replies sliced through excuses like steel, clean and merciless. It wasn't cruelty, it was precision. In that moment, AOC wasn't the star. She was the punchline.
Lindi, again, you would know this better than anyone else, so why don't you tell us what the hell is going on and how we got here?
You really can't make this shit up. These sorts of things, these boondoggles, that go straight into the pockets of consultants, by the way. And it's the same group of people. They move from one campaign to the next. It doesn't matter if they win or lose, they're still going to cash that paycheck. And that's why they had like advertising down here in Ruby Red, Florida.
The irony here is priceless. AOC built her brand on fiery speeches and sharp comebacks. But when someone equally bold and twice as prepared stepped in, she folded faster than a cheap lawn chair. It was like watching a magician pull rabbits out of hats until Lindi walked up and showed the trap door to the crowd. And this wasn't just entertainment. Lindi spoke for everyone tired of contradictions and half-truths. What unfolded was catharsis in real time. Raw, unfiltered chaos, and Lindi Li directing every second of it.
And the final straw, the moment that I knew that I needed to leave was actually around Christmas Eve, when the chair of the party, he's the biggest clown that the Democratic Party has ever, like, honestly, in recent history, I can't think of a more incompetent boob than this man. And if you just look at him,
it's pretty bad to be an incompetent boob. That's not good. DNC Chair Rob, can you pull up which one are you talking?
Lindi didn't just fire shots. She detonated a verbal nuke and walked away without looking back. AOC was left standing in the smoke, still insisting none of it counted. Spoiler alert, it counted. All of it. She clung to her talking points, like someone holding an umbrella in a hurricane, except the umbrella was inside out and Lindi was the storm. Every rebuttal hit like thunder, and the more AOC denied, the higher the mountain of receipts grew. By the end, it looked like Lindi was pulling new evidence out of thin air.
Because they don't care if the candidate wins, they're still going to make that dollar. And so they're spending $20 million on some sort of anthropological study of American men. Why don't they actually go out there and meet them?
Yeah, talk to them, get to know them, understand.
Exactly.
Imagine reaching for a lifeline and finding scissors on the other end. That was AOC's vibe. Desperate, cornered, and running out of spin. She pivoted mid-sentence, hoping no one would notice. Lindi noticed. Every dodge was blocked, every pivot exposed. Watching her deny the obvious with full confidence was unintentionally hilarious. By the time Lindi finished, AOC's defenses sounded less like arguments and more like punchlines. The woman who built a brand on passion and control suddenly looked like she was drowning in her own contradictions.
This nonsense from like AOC that he should be impeached is just absurd. Absurd. There's no... Okay, get back to me when you've read the Constitution or get a law degree, because you sound like an absolute fucking idiot. There is absolutely no ground to impeach the president. He 100% was within his constitutional authority and his congressionally authorized authority to do what he did on Saturday. Okay, but as for whether it's a good idea, that's a debate we should be having. And look, you know, if we could get congressional approval of the specific action, fine, I'm okay with that too. If you want to bring it to Congress, go ahead and see how that goes. I don't think it's necessary, but go for it if you want.
And the real twist? In that room, AOC wasn't even the most prepared person, not by a mile. Lindi came armed with research, like she was taking a final exam, while AOC looked like she forgot the test existed. The audience could feel it, the gasps, the side eyes, the laughter that said, "Did she really just say that?" Even people who weren't Lindi fans couldn't look away.
So this is, and just because you care about these issues doesn't make you sexist or racist. I don't think so, and I don't think that the field was going to clear for her. I think that's a false assumption because people understand that this is a fundamentally weak candidate.
I'm out of time. Thank you for yours, and we'll speak in the new year, okay? Lindi Li.
Thank you so much.
Then came the breaking point, the moment AOC realized the spin had run out. You could see it flicker across her face, that split-second I'm cooked expression. But she hid it behind the classic shrug and smirk. Doesn't matter, her face said. Except it did, and everyone knew it.
What were they telling your mom? And how soon was it? After the election? Like,
a
when
week
was
or two.
it?
When it wasn't at that point, I was just asking questions. Like, it wasn't even. I was like, what happened to the $2.5 billion we raised? Why did we spend it on Beyonce? Why did we spend 2.5? Why did we spend millions of dollars on Oprah? Like legitimate questions that needed to be answered. But the amount of hate I got for that was just overwhelming.
Sure, AOC walked off pretending she was fine, but nobody bought it. Everyone watching knew what they'd just seen, a total dismantling. Lindi didn't just win. She rewrote the scoreboard, unplugged it, and torched the stadium on her way out. AOC's confidence cracked, her reputation bruised, and her once loyal audience started to question the image she'd built. It wasn't just a loss,